Welcome back users to our channel. In today's video we will see the installation of Manjaro Cinnamon desktop. We will go to detailed installation review of the Manjaro Cinnamon desktop. So let us start. I opened the folder where I kept the Manjaro Cinnamon ISO. Right click on it, open with boxes, template, search for Manjaro. It will be there. It is there. Go ahead. The default resource allocation is okay for me, is okay for Manjaro Cinnamon. We go ahead, create. Now boot with proprietary drivers. Otherwise it will boot by default with open source drivers. So if you boot with proprietary drivers, there won't be any issues because it will load the proprietary drivers for your hardware and other things. If you go with the open source drivers, you may or may not face a problem. It all depends whether your OEM has released the drivers as free or as non-free. So if it is non-free, then it is not included in most Linux distros, and if it's free, then it will be included by default by most of the Linux distros. So the live image is booting up. We need to wait. It's quite fast than the Linux Lite we tested last time. So now it is this Gnome box is giving me warning that your system is running without video hardware acceleration. So you need to check your video driver. So we need not do anything right now because it's just a review. It is not an actual system on a bare metal. So first of all, this is the screen Manjaro Cinnamon screen. This is the Cinnamon panel. This is the desktop, and this is the welcome screen or the called Manjaro Hello. So it covers documentation, README, release info, and wiki, and support forums, Discord software, and mailing list. So you can use them as you need. And project in get if you want to contribute to the Manjaro community, then you can get involved using the links given here. You can, if you are a developer, then you can involve with the development of the Manjaro project, and if you are a well-wisher of the Manjaro project, you can donate using the links given here. And below the installation, you can launch the installer from here. Otherwise you can launch the installer here also. There is the Manjaro guide. So let me maximize it. So note that Manjaro is based on Arch, but it is not Arch. So Manjaro is user friendly than Arch, and any new user also can install Manjaro and start being productive. In Arch, the development curve is very steep. You need to have an experience of Linux at least few years before you can use the Arch. That is not true with Manjaro. Manjaro, any new user directly from Windows also can use the Manjaro distro, but he has to carefully read this manual once, then it's okay for him. Otherwise, he may face the problems. So everything is given here. Getting Manjaro, downloading Manjaro, checking a window disk image for errors, writing disk image, installing Manjaro, booting the live environment, some useful definitions. That is the terminology used specifically for the distro and Linux in general. Dual booting with Linux, Microsoft Windows, assisted installation methods, manual installation on a BIOS system, manual installation of UEFI system, encrypting partitions. Welcome to Manjaro desktop, getting help, maintaining your system, and the index finally. So this is also very detailed guide is there. So along with the screenshot it is given, so it is very easy for new users to follow the instructions, because visual people, most of the people are visual oriented. They gain more information from visuals than from the text. So reading books is now a skill that is fast vanishing. Most of the people learn from the visuals, videos, audio. Very few people nowadays read books. Therefore visuals are important, screenshots are important in any textual manual. Otherwise very few people read it thoroughly, and most of the people will leave the topic as it is and try to search video or audio manuals. So this is also very good manual, very simple looking but very effective. So just like Linux Live, this is also good, but Linux Live is altogether very different. It is the best, I can say, but this is also good. It is quite usable, and you won't go wrong if you follow this. Okay, so I will close it now. We will check the guide later on in the detailed review. You can discover the software from here. Okay, so Vivaldi is the default browser. Firefox, I think it is not there. Let me check. No, Firefox is not there. They have dumped the firewall. Sorry, Firefox in and they have put in Vivaldi. Okay, so this is the online software center. Simple but very effective software center. GUI is very different from other software centers. Okay, cancel. Let me cancel it. Okay, now we will start the installation. So this is a typical cinnamon menu, application menu. What they have done is the default cinnamon icons and themes has been replaced by Manjaro theme and icon set. Looks very good. It is very typical desktop. You just looking at the desktop, you can say, if you hide the name of Manjaro Cinnamon on the desktop, then also you can recognize this. This is the color scheme is very typical Manjaro. Now let us start. We double click on this install Manjaro Linux. Welcome to Manjaro Linux 21.2.3 Qonos installer. We hit this is the Calamars installer. Welcome. So it consists of welcome, location, keyboard, partitions, users, office suite selection, summary, install, and finish sections. So we start. It is already perfectly selected my region and zone. I need not do any changes. I just go and click next. Then English US is okay for me. I go ahead. I will go for manual partitioning. Let us check out the partitioner of the Manjaro. Okay, we prepare a new partition table. We use the GPT based partition table because we will not use Windows with this. Okay, now we create a partition ext4. So say 500 MB we give to boot, and we give it Okay, now we go and create, select the free space and create new partition. That is the swap partition. Select the Linux swap. Mount point is not required for a swap partition. So just a moment. We edit. We forget giving the size. So we can go for 2 GB. That is 2000 MB. Okay. Now free space is there. Now we create a root partition. So the file system available is ext2, ext3, 4, FAT16, FAT32, NTFS, RiserFS, XFS, JFS, unformatted, leave it, ButterFS, Lux, XFAT, NIL-FS2, LVM2, PV, file to file system, Lux2, FAT12, and Minix. So we choose the ext4, which is the default file system right now. Most of the Linux distros prefer ext4 as a default. Then we select OK. So we have boot partition, 500 MB swap, 2 GB swap, and 17.55 GB root partition. Install bootloader on master boot record of VDA, that is the virtual hard disk, or it is located on boot partition, that is the slash boot. You can do master MBR also, but MBR I think is not used, so you put it on the slash boot, that is here. Why it is not going ahead? Like this, maybe because it is a virtual hard disk, things are not working. But when you do installation of bare metal, you have to use like this. Okay, I did not put the mount point. Okay. Now, okay, yes. Now the system issue is resolved. Now you can select yes. Other earlier it was grayed out. Now we go ahead. So I put the name Sam. I remove the unnecessary things. Okay. I put Sam and then some password, some hidden keys I put. Now use the same password for administrator account. Else, if you want to secure a system, harden your system, use a different administrator password, and user password should be kept different. Right now, for demonstration purposes, I will not, keep the password same for the administrator account also. Now click next. Now it is giving me option either to go for LibreOffice or FreeOffice. So I am used to LibreOffice, but many of you might be using FreeOffice, so you can go for a FreeOffice option. Now click next again. So now it is giving a summary of the installation options I have chosen. Time zone set to Asia Calcutta, system language set to English India, number and dates local set to English India, keyboard set to generic 105 key PC, keyboard layout to English US default, and manual partitioning was selected, 500 MB boot partition, 2 GB swap partition, and 17.55 GB root partition. So now it is giving me summary of what partitions it will create. Now I click on install button. It is asking me install. Do you want to install now, or you have to go back and do some settings if you are not satisfied with the setting options you have chosen. So if you choose wrong options, you can go back and correct your options and come back to the screen again here after correction of the options. Options selected by me are okay, so I will just go ahead and choose the install now option. The installation starts. It is very fast installation compared to the Linux Lite installation, which was slow because it is based on Ubuntu. Ubuntu installer is slow, but installers based on Calamars are very fast. This is a Calamars installer. Even the installer used by Fedora is very fast. Even faster is the MX Linux installer. It is very very fast. In 10 minutes you will have your installed system. It is one of the fastest MX Linux. And Linux Mint is also good comparative to Linux Lite. Though both of them are based on Ubuntu, it is fast. Linux Mint installation is fast than Linux Lite. It is now configuring the hardware. Setting the system clock, now installing bootloader. Just we are few minutes away from the end of the installation. I have personally used Manjaro Linux for few months. I did not have any problems with it. Only some apps, there was a tearing in the GUI, app GUI. Therefore, I switched back to Debian. Otherwise, there is no issue with the updates and overall system functioning. Only some GUI issues were there. There was a tearing effect, so the top bar of the GUI, there used to be horizontal lines, tier lines on it. It was not looking good. So that's why I shifted back to Debian, because Debian is my long-termer, Debian and Fedora. I used them for many years. But yes, this is one of the best. Manjaro is one of the best Arch-based distros, along with Endeavor. Endeavor will review Endeavor sometime later, maybe next week. This week we will finish the installation of Manjaro, and then detailed review of the Manjaro distro, Cinnamon, and then maybe XFC also I will cover, Manjaro XFC, and then we will shift to Endeavor. In between, if some other new releases are there for different distros, that also we need to cover. Now the post install scripts are running. It is done. So there is option to further explore the live environment of the Manjaro, or you can restart the system. I will opt to restart the system. Click done, and the system will restart. So we end our video here. The system is booting up. In the next video, we will cover the Manjaro Cinnamon desktop in detail. Do keep giving good comments and feedback, so we can improve our channel, our skills in video editing also, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much. See you. Bye.